Welcome everyone to Voice of Terminus show number 35. Actually, it's not 36, it's 35. We have a typo at the top corner there. Today's topic is everything to do with epics. Epic quests, armor, weapons, spells, and crafting. With us today I have Delincia. Say hello, Dal.
Hey everybody!
Lex, say hello.
Show's gonna rock.
Hey people.
Kodiak.
Good afternoon.
And Vezem.
Hey guys.
And let's go and bring up all these topics we have so you guys can see it on this big screen. So we don't have any questions prepared for today's show. It's going to be more of a general discussion on everything that's got to do with Epic, touching on Tuesday's show with the lore keeping. We thought this would be a great idea to bring the Epic portion into this. So when we talk about Epic quests, what's your guys' first thoughts on it? We'll start off with Delincia. What's your first thoughts on when you think about Epic quest?
Epic quest, very involved. I want the quest to be where it makes sense, it's worthy, it's time consuming, it's not instant gratification quest, it's something you work over time to achieve, to get that, gem of awesomeness, that staff of awesomeness, the robe of awesomeness, the plate armor awesomeness, the shield of awesomeness. I foresee it being a lengthy, worthy cause, maybe where 50% to maybe 75% is either soloable and the other 25% is group, or even maybe individual pieces of epic armor, epic weapons. Because I envision the epic as not just one weapon, not just one crown, but I see it as different pieces throughout the world of Terminus that you actually have to collect. Mm-hmm. And I also see it being where the longevity of the epic carries over in expansions, where maybe you can improve upon the epic, upgrade the epic. So that's what epic means to me. It's the ultimate power, but you're always constantly striving to achieve epicness and continue to build upon your powers. But as you go, you're going to continue to find that there's things that are more powerful than you. So you're going to have to continually find ways to defeat those powers and those forces. That's how I see an epic.
All right, and Kodiak, your take?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing that Dal said, is that basically it needs to take time. I think that there should be tier progressions towards your epic. Like, you should start it at a lower level. Don't wait till you're level 50 or 45 to start it. Why not start it when you're level 20 and maybe you just get a little sword, and then that sword sticks with you and it grows with you, and at level 30 you do more quests and it grows a little stronger, and then at level 40 it gets a little stronger, and then at level 50 it becomes the sword of awesomeness. Mm-hmm. So that way you grow into that epic weapon.
Lex?
To me, I also agree with everything that's already been said, but to me, an epic quest is something tailored for me, given my race and class combination, that's going to combine into an overarching story for my journey. It needs to encompass every aspect of the game to a point, because some people aren't crafters, so I can understand being able to offload something like that. But you should be able to do some solo, some group, some raid, maybe some puzzles, maybe a little bit of lore, treasure hunting or something. But all in all, what I get tired of seeing in a lot of these old ones is you get your epic, an expansion comes out, it's no longer any good. Mm-hmm. An epic quest needs to stick with you. It needs to be a part of your journey forever.
Yeah.
Not necessarily this is the only weapon I ever use, this is the only armor I ever use, but it needs to have its place as the game evolves.
Okay. Vezem, your take?
Yeah, the epic quest is supposed to be the thing you're looking forward to since day one. It's supposed to be that end-all be-all type feeling. And it's supposed to combine all the aspects you've been learning since level 1, like the dungeons, the groups, your crafting, all the lures getting tied in there at the end. It's supposed to be just your end-all be-all, like the coolest thing you've ever done.
Mm. Okay, cool. I basically agree with all of you, so I'm not going to go into any detail, but what I'd like to do is on the quest part. Do you see the epic quest being like, just one quest you're going to do for for your weapon, for your armor, etc., or would you like to see it be broken down in steps? So you start off like Kodiak suggested. Let's say, for instance, now your first epic quest encounter is at level 20. You go out, and then at level whatever 30 or 35, 40, and so on, another one, or it advances to the next level, and you get your next piece of armor. Would you like to see something like that, or would you like to see individual quests evolve, or would you like to see this quest be one major, massive, epic story? What's your guys' takes on that thing?
Let me I actually made a little list of what I
Oh
was
my
talking about. I came
gosh.
prepared today. So basically, what I thought of a
Make us
tier
look bad.
progression epic quest would be like, let's say at level 10, you started your epic quest and it gave you some boots, right? Then at level 20, you got to continue on with that epic quest, and you now got to upgrade your boots, but you also earned hands, okay? I know I came prepared, shocking. 30 is when you get your legs, your boots, and your hands, and they get them all upgraded to that tier. 40, you get your chest, your legs, your hands, and your boots, right? And then 50, now that you've gotten all your armor pieces up to level 50, now you start your weapon quest. Something of that would be a nice tier progression, epic thing.
Okay,
Cool.
see, this is where the Kodiak took a brain device, planted it on top of my headset, and stole a lot of what I wanted to say, you bastard. But I had the same thought, Kodiak. I thought about even the expansions, too, because Dark Soul pointed out, too, even you could bring a new slot. Say, on the next expansion, you get the epic gloves. And then on the next DLC or expansion, you get the epic chest plate. You earn these, so there's something new in each expansion that builds your epic gear set. And then your epic gear set slowly evolves with your character over time when more expansions come out, and then perhaps they do the same thing again. Now there's even a more powerful set you can collect now because a new power has come into the world of Terminus. Now you have to defeat that and make that journey. You've discovered some more ancient powerful items that have been long lost, long ago. So I kind of see that exact same thing, being able to bring out pieces and just kind of level them and progress with them. So I like it.
Lex,
Definitely. Awesome.
want to add to that?
Well, I've done numerous epic quests in my career, everything from EverQuest to EverQuest to WoW and all that stuff. The most fun I had was with my Ixar Shadow Knight, where you start off at level 1 with this little sword, turn it into your guildmaster. He tells you the next thing to do to make it stronger. And you go all the way up until like level 50 at the time, when you've got a really nice item. But it gives you that feeling like it's a part of you. You've had this, you've worked on this. It actually felt like an epic journey. Not just an epic quest, it's an epic journey to get this item.
True.
And whenever I did one from another class, it just felt like an exceptionally hard quest.
And that's why
Didn't really
I think
feel like
that
a
you should
journey.
actually start that journey at a lower level. When
Right.
you actually need your guild master, you're going there to spend your points, right?
Right.
To like, one-handed blunt or evocation or whatever, right? So why not get hints at a low level of, things that you might need to start accumulating for preparing yourself for the end game journey.
Yeah, and
Right, yeah.
And a great thing too, like I said, it's got to be an epic journey. I like the idea of Savari too, because I've been thinking this on the side along with Dark Soul. They've been stealing ideas from my brain all of a sudden. But I want the epic quest to be epic, and like Savari said, maybe you're on the boat ride, your 30-minute boat ride to somewhere, and all of a sudden, bloop, you decide you got to jump off at this rock, at this longitude, at this location, swim down to the bottom of the ocean and go to the lost treasure ship, and there's where you find a sword hilt that is part of your epic quest because you learn it from a lore master somewhere in the university at the lore museum about an epic, an ancient sword that is of awesomeness that's been lost long ago. Now you're reading these lore texts as lore masters are bringing them in. You're starting to unlock and uncover this epic quest line that's going to take you to your next your next part of your journey. So I really like that idea completely. I mean, it's got to be a journey, and it's got to be worth the journey too, and it just brings in the idea of longevity, making sure that the longevity of that epic is important. Because one thing I kind of was disappointed with EverQuest was we got our Epic, and then there was Epic 2.0. But the thing with Epic 1.0 was that then when they bring some expansions, and there were staves, like for instance, a good example, I was a magician, I got my Epic 1.0, and I worked so hard to get it. Then they brought out an expansion where now they brought the staff of awesomeness that just wiped out my Epic 1.0.
Mhm.
Now my Epic 1.0 has just been crapped on. And I felt really bad as a player. It's like, well, man, that just kind of blows the whole point of the epic weapon that could summon my epic air pet. And now I got crap because now the staff just trumps it.
Do you want
It's
to?
gone.
Yeah.
Do you want to carry on with your thought process, Lex, to finish off?
Well, the biggest flaw that I see when I think of what I want out of an epic is, although I want this to be a really great item, I don't want this to be the only item I ever use. Otherwise, all of these other items in the game, these thousands of different swords and stuff, are pointless. But then you start thinking, maybe you get an epic sword. Well, swords aren't going to be that good against skeletons. We don't know to what extent yet.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, so there's one thing that kind of puts me at ease, and the same thing kind of goes with armor. Even if they allow you to customize your armor, like say, because I'm a tank, I want to go crazy armor class, I want to go crazy stamina or constitution on my chest plate. Well, what if I go to the desert? It might be more beneficial to wear this other breastplate that helps me against the environment, because environment is going to play a part in this. So while your epic is technically super badass, it might not be the best for this situation.
Yeah, situational gear should be huge and play a big part into it. Same, like just exactly what you were saying, Lex, is that there should be an epic weapon for a sword, epic for a blunt, epic for a piercing, epic whatever, and you can choose which one is more important and go that direction. That doesn't mean you can't go get all those weapons and have them in your arsenal, or you can't get the cold resistant armor, or you can't get the fire resistant armor or whatever. But you're gonna have to choose what's more important for my play style at this moment.
Right, exactly. And that's one thing that really puts me at ease. Catharsis had a really good point. Like, I'm actually tired of only seeing epic weapons. I'm really tired of it.
Yep.
Like, I can understand, a warrior getting an epic sword because he's all about the weapons, Well, a paladin, you think protector, or paladin or crusader, you think a protector of people, they really are all about their shield, maybe. Maybe that's their holy symbol, is their shield. So why would not give them an epic shield instead of a weapon? To me, it makes more sense. So tying a lot of stuff in with the lore and what actually fits with that character, how they're supposed to be, will actually go a long way for me in this game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, one thing I was thinking about was actually having your epic gear almost have like its own XP bar, where it grows with you as the more you use it, and it's almost like a mini AA or skill tree almost, that whatever you like to use as a player, you can actually put in points to that, and that way the epic weapons, epic armor, they all stick with you through the game, and they can grow with you as a player. Instead of just using it for a week, you hit your raid stuff, and you're like, I guess I don't need this anymore.
Yes, I like that idea.
That's a
Personally,
good idea.
that really appeals to my wanting to customize me.
So how would you guys?
Me an item.
So how would you guys like to see, the epic quest be attained? Could you see epic quests being part of the perception system as well, for the individual character or class, race, whatever? Or would you rather have it made, stupid simple?
No, I think it should have to touch all aspects of the game. There's no point in having such an intricate game if you're not going to, have interface with it. So they should have some things that are perception, some things that are lore evolved, some things that are crafting, some things that are,
touch all aspects of the mechanic.
You might have to go into some fire-ridden area that you're going to have to get all the fire-resistant gear and have fire-resistant buffs and everything to get into that area, because the environment's so overwhelming that you'll just die if you don't. Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all about the gentle curve. Starts off easy, gets exponentially harder, because the higher level you are, the more you are actually able to, to complete on your own. or the more that you have available to you in terms of zones and everything. So it should get harder. It shouldn't just be a case of, oh, here, then here, then here, done. It's, okay, you start off, go here and do this. Okay, now go here and do this. Well, now I got to get a group together to go in here and try to find something. So it's not necessarily difficult, but the fact that you don't know where it is, they just tell you it's in here, makes it difficult, but not impossible.
But not impossible, exactly.
Yeah, and I agree with Savardi. Don't make it difficult as far as like the game being difficult, but something that you need to figure out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a
There's
puzzle.
A solution.
Make me
puzzle,
think.
Yeah.
Make me think.
It's like it's a puzzle. It's like an adventure. It's like a treasure map. Almost a treasure, because that is kind of fun because you're seeking out the bits and pieces of the treasure, and you're getting clues along the way. And that's why I said, tie in the lore book, the lore master idea that we discussed on the Tavern Talk, that hot topic. I mean, this is some great stuff that they could tie the epics into. That it's not just, hey, you must go to the plane of sky, kill on the 7th island, and guess what? The magician got the crown of mastery. Now you must combine and build the ultimate weapon. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Thanks for killing that bad guy. No, actually, there don't have to always be killing to make your epic come to life. There might be some races or classes that actually their epic is all about seeking out the lore and finding all those bits and pieces through reading through the textbooks and stuff. So, and it ties in the lore, the stories, these ancient texts you find scribbling on the wall. This all builds towards building towards your epics. I mean, there's so many ways you can implement the epic process through perception, through the environment, through crafting, through player interaction, you name it. There's ways to go about it, and I think they need to take advantage of every mechanic to bring these epic quests into play and make them worthy. And I believe you should be able to start them at level 1 or level 2, whatever. I mean, shoot, if you happen to run into the sword hilt of awesomeness as a level 1 paladin, awesome, good kudos on you because you stumbled upon it, That's just something really cool. And everybody's going to be different with this system if you think about it, because not everybody is going to run into the epic quest in the same place. Like we talked about a few episodes back, you could randomize the perception area where people stumble upon these things. And some people might be working on, say, the boots of awesomeness, while this guy's working on, the epic sword of awesomeness, and they're both paladins. You know what I'm saying? So it will break up this balancing of gear and stuff like that too. So not every player is going to be the same, because that's what a lot of people complain about, is players are the same. So some people might choose out of those, say you got 10 different gear slots, those people might choose 10 different things they're working on, and they still haven't figured out where to go, but somebody else figured out the sword of awesomeness. So now that paladin who was working on his boots says, well, hey, I'm going to start working on the sword of awesomeness. Can you give me a clue? So that promotes player interaction as well. So there's where your social aspect and working together as a team gets information. And then rumors. You could throw rumors out in a tavern and say, hey, yes, this NPC could be talking to this one. Say, hey, yeah, I heard there was something, an old gloomy deep mine over here, that an ancient sword hilt was found. Bam! Right there's a clue. No, it didn't have to be a lore book. It didn't have to be a scripture on the wall. It was just a rumor in a tavern that you happen to stumble upon that, hey, what's this? And now you search it out. And you could be a cleric who goes on a mystery to find it, and guess what? You just uncovered part of the paladin epic. And now you're going to help a paladin.
Yeah, I just like the fact of having multiple different variations of different gear, different weapons, different whatever, right? Because if I'm a battle cleric, I'm going to want, maybe something with more stamina and strength, whatever. But if I'm a stand back and heal cleric, I'm going to want wisdom and, whatever. So not every cleric's going to want the cookie cutter gear. Like, we want to give the people options.
Resim, you got anything to add to that?
Oh yeah, well I was thinking as far as options go, how you could get to choose would be through your crafting of your epic weapon. I have written down in my notes, Kodiak's not the only one that came prepared today, that I think it would be awesome if you were crafting your items like in a deep, deep dungeon where you have mobs attacking you that your group has to fend off while you're using this magical forge from this lost race. That's cool, where you're doing your crafting. So if it's in like, say where the scars are, you get heat resistance to that armor if you do it there. If you're in the Arctic area, you get more ice resistance if that's where you're crafting it. Yeah. And that's how you can kind of pick and choose the stats for your own gear. It's going to take you longer, but at the end, it's way going to be worth it.
So
I like that idea.
So moving on,
I like that too. That's an awesome aspect to do it, to implement.
faction within the epic portion. How much should faction play a role inside the epic quest line?
I think that only faction, like if there's a spot in the quest line that says you need to go retrieve this book in a certain library in a certain town, then you can either grind faction, or so that you can have access to that town, or you can sneak in there, or you can invis in there. I mean, there should be multiple ways to get it. You know.
Right. That's the biggest mistake a lot of games make. They don't give you multiple options to achieve a goal. Then it's just, oh, I have to grind so that I can get into this city. Grinding is boring. So then you immediately don't want to play. The minute you hear grind, you just don't want to play. So
Well,
if
one
you
man's
say
grind is
you
another man's
can
treasure.
grind, you can
Right.
sneak, you can get an invis, you can do this quest in an obscure area in order to get faction, which is similar to grinding, but maybe it's a long quest chain that gets you neutral with them. Who knows? It's just the more options we have, the better.
Yeah.
Well, I remember in EQ2 that your betrayal quest, if you wanted to go from Kanos to Freeport, you actually had to go like through the sewers and come up the sneaky way just to talk to the guy to get the minimum faction to stay in the city, which I thought was kind of cool, and it'd be nice if they had some minor quests like that. So if you were evil to one city, you could work your way up eventually.
Yeah, because even in EQ1 they had an evil entrance for Freeport too. It was through that hidden wall on the side. You know.
Yeah.
So same kind of scenario.
So you could, they could even put like a secret doorway for say you don't want to grind the faction, but there's a secret doorway that you could go down this tunnel through the sewers. Now you're going through the sewers of the city. I think all these cities should have sewers, by the way. Devs, please put sewers in for every city, because obviously they got to get rid of their waste somehow. So you sneak through the sewers.
It magically disappears.
Yeah, it magically disappears. And as you're going through the sewer, and you make your way to under the museum. Oh, the evil faction museum of the bad scar people who don't like you. And you sneak up through the drain pipe, you get into the museum, and there you go to the wall. And guess what? Behold, the scripture of ultimate power. Now you've gotten it. You didn't have to battle or get faction. Now you have to sneak your way back through. Well, you might have to fight a little bit to get there. But it's not as hard as having to get all that faction to get in there. But guess what? I'm going to make it a little bit more challenging, though, because you got to find the treasure map on how to navigate the sewers to get to the museum. I'm not going to tell you where the museum is in the sewers. You have to figure that out.
Okay.
Aha. And fight off the drowned Desians and the bad rats and anything else that might be
take
lurking.
a wrong turn and
The sewer skeletons.
you know.
Yep, or some skeletons.
So-
or you might fall in a pile of poo.
So another idea as well towards the quests is, would you like to see side quests that basically interact with your epic quests at the same time? That are basically they have to be done. It's part of the epic line, but you don't know about it.
As long as it makes sense as to
Yeah.
why it's there, yeah, I'd be fine with that.
I mean, it really wouldn't be a side quest; it'd be an optional quest because it's still
Yeah.
the end result would still be the same. Because when I think side quest, I think of like the go kill. You're just killing time to gain XP. Like go kill 10 rats, bring back their tails, yada yada yada. That's a side quest to me. If you're working on your epic and there's an optional path that you can take to maybe add an extra stat or something, because you don't have to, then that's optional. You know.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, to me, the big thing is just have it make sense. Like, don't say, as a Dire Lord, my epic is a big, jagged, two-handed sword.
Or to go save
Well-
a bunch of people.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
don't have my side quest be go help some halflings that are stuck in a tree. Like, no, don't eat them. I'm hungry. Come on.
Whoa, you're vicious, Scar.
Lex, hey, what's wrong with you, Lex?
Unless it was go eat some halflings that were stuck in a tree, then it would be okay, right?
Right.
Then it's different. If it's kill the halflings that are in the tree, sure.
Yeah. Just
You know,
light
like
the
you
tree
need to
on
bloody the
fire and
blade so
cook
that it gets a
itself.
little stronger. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, right.
So most of the
One thing
time,
I always like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gernilla.
most of the time, epic quests always ended up with a raid. I think we're all here in agreement that can be split up. It doesn't necessarily have to always be a raid. What's your take on that? Should it be the end step of the quest always ends up being, you know, go raid this zone, go raid that zone to go and get it. Some of the ideas you guys have put forth, explaining that doesn't necessarily have to always be go and killing the end monster. So I think we're all kind of in agreement that it doesn't necessarily have to always be a raiding quest to finish it off.
Even like in EQ1 or whatever, right? You'd end with the raid, but you still have to go talk to 3 more people after. So that really wasn't you did a raid and here's your item. Like, you still had to go do something after.
I think, sorry, Kodiak, but I think the Shaman Epic, if I remember correctly, EQ1, the Shaman Epic really didn't have any raid bosses. If I remember correctly. You just had to go through a couple dudes, kill them real easy, and then bam, you turned it in, you got your item. It was like simple as, you know, going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
But they could change it up. So maybe some of the harder, you know, more like the tanks maybe have to do a raid. Maybe the casters have to do the lore type thing. Maybe the scouts have to go sneak and steal something. I mean, you can change it up how, you know, based on the lore of your class.
Exactly. So I think they can approach the epics in a lot of ways, and I think that's what they should do, is take advantage of that, and not just have the same old school, let's go kill the ultimate raid mob and destroy it and get our piece. I think you could have the last piece be something really simple. I remember part of the Magician 2.0 in EQ1 was to get some hydrolyzed ether from a big turtle dude, kill him, and then I had to actually get brewing, learn how to do brewing, and brew this, you know, secret element, and I can't remember what else I had to do with it, but I don't remember that part. So I actually had to use crafting involved too, which I think would be even a nice idea too, is you could actually craft augments to actually augment the power of your epics later on down the road too.
And that's also with the tier progression. I think that if they do tier progression, epic armor, weapons, etc., augs, whatever it is, they can introduce rating at an earlier level than in game, you know, because if you've got level 20 raid mobs, 30 whatever, and you're doing those to get maybe one piece or to grow or something like that.
And my biggest thing too, and how I look at it, is longevity of epics. The longevity has to be there, because you're worked on okay, let's just say we got Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, the first release, the original release. Okay, now there's Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, the continent of Icelandic. Now there's a whole new zone, you know, new zones, whatever. Now I achieved my epic in the original release. I want that to carry over into the Icelandic part, but I don't want any weapons or items in that expansion to kill my epic. What I'd rather see, though, is the longevity, that I can actually go to the Icelandic now, and I can actually augment that my epic grows with me in that expansion. You know, because I achieved it in the beginning, and some people might not. Some people might skip that, or might not even take on the epic because they're like, screw it. But they still can play. They still can go to the new expansion area. But it all depends on you as an individual whether you want to achieve epic status or not. Some folks do, some folks don't.
It should.
They don't need to force it on you either.
No,
like, if
it's
you
not
want
a
to do
force.
it, or if you want to wait till you're 50 and then go back and start it from the beginning, or if you want to gradually work your way into it, you have the option to. Nothing should be forced onto you, period.
But getting onto your idea, Dal, though, it shouldn't be something that you could do straight away. You know, when the expansion comes out, obviously some of that gear is going to be, you know, pretty damn cool. But you should have the option to, you know, build up on your epic. Your epic shouldn't be the ultimate thing when a new expansion comes out. It should still be reliable. It should still be good. And you should have the option to add to your epic and make it, you know, suitable for that area, that continent, etc. It shouldn't be, you know, all the new gear that comes out is basically useless to you.
Trash mobs that are dropping gear that's better than your epic, that's the problem.
Yeah, that is definitely the problem.
Yeah.
So like, I don't care if it's a name that drops something better than your epic, then that's fine. And then that means, but you still need to be able to progress your epic so that it stays equivalent to that expansion as it gets released. But I'm just saying, if the trash mobs are dropping, you know, Defiant gear or whatever that just kicks your epic, all that time you spent wasted because this rat drops a Defiant sword of whatever.
Exactly.
You know?
I think that's the biggest thing too. As a player myself, personally, what I hated the most is I put so many hours and so much work and my friends into this epic, and then all of a sudden it gets trumped by a trash mob item that's so more powerful that I'm like, well, what was the point of going to get the epic in the first place? Make that epic continue. Don't.
Or if you can take that, or I was gonna say maybe some raid mob does. I was reading something about the Excalibur
Dark
thing,
Soul?
but like says that hey, I go and get this sword from this new raid mob and whatever, and then I take my epic and I take it to some new Grandmaster weaponsmith that's hidden somewhere in the world, and he can combine them.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Other gear you could get, you could break it down to its rarest form and then add it into your epic weapon or armor, whatever you
Then
want
that brings your epic back up to greatness.
Yeah, and here's what Dark Soul said, and I want to read this out there. I always thought that since it was an epic item, that some big baddie was hoarding the last piece, and you're becoming known to this baddie, who is unknown to you, and you're on his radar to be destroyed, and you have random assassination attempts to keep you from discovering this baddie and getting closer to the item. When you collect all necessary items, the baddie hunts you down to deal with you where his flunkies failed, which is a cool idea too. I mean, that would work with the disposition system as well, you know, stuff like that. So just something I want to throw out there, which is a cool way to incorporate some of the epic quest lines as well. That would
Yeah,
be extremely cool.
as you're building status throughout the world of Terminus, yeah, why could not some of the evil races or bad faction people send assassins
Actually hunt
after
me
you?
down, yeah.
Yeah.
You step over a certain area or a perception trigger, that all of a sudden these unmasked raiders or this orc horde comes out of nowhere, and your group's like, what the hell? And you're all getting pummeled because they were sent to stop him because he just worked on he just completed part of the epic that he forgot to tell you guys or maybe didn't mention in a previous gaming session. Now you guys are being hunted throughout the world of Terminus every time he steps in one of these locations.
So,
That would be kind of cool too.
Anything to add, Lex, before we move on to weapons?
Well, for epic quests, no. Like, should you get it early? No. Should you start it early? Yes, because it's basically use your epic as your character's story arc. Like, you know how SWTOR, everyone had their specific story. You could do that with an epic. Simple. Don't have to worry about any then you can overlay a world story. Okay. When you hit a certain spot, you should have options on how to complete it. Say, I'm a big crafter. Okay, well, say Resum is a raider, so he should be able to get this jeweled hilt for his sword because his epic happens to be a sword. He can get it from this dragon, or me. I can go on this big long quest to try and craft it. And either way, I still get a jeweled hilt for it. I'm playing my way. I have an option. Even though those options may not be the best, because what if I don't raid and I don't craft? Well, this is where you're just probably going to have to suck it up. And
Suck it up, cupcake.
yeah, suck it up, princess, and just go find someone to help you either way.
Actually, that's a pretty cool idea. So what's your guys' take on that? Having different options for you to acquire your epic whatever. You could take the path where you go down the raiding path that will eventually end up being a raid, or you can go take it where you have a longer process and then you could end up crafting the weapon, or you go through process C, whatever that's going to be. Do you think that's something that is viable, usable, good, bad?
I think that would be okay for certain parts of the quest line, or whatever, certain segments. Like he said, that'd be a perfect example for a jeweled hilt, right? If you can either craft that jeweled hilt yourself, or you can kill a raid mob to get that jeweled hilt, or you can sneak and maybe steal it from somebody, or maybe you can do the lore thing and find out where one's hidden, and find it that way. So there should be certain aspects of the quest I wouldn't see a problem with having multiple options in order to obtain that item.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with multiple options to obtain an epic item, but I do have this problem. It better be challenging. It better not be just spoon-fed, give it to me, haha, I beat you, because the time that goes into a raid or killing a raid mob or vice versa should be risk versus reward, because some people just want the crap handed to them for convenience.
Because that's actually sorry.
So no convenience crap. I don't want this easy cheesy crap, because that right there kills the socialization. That kills the the time sinks that they need to build into the game, so you can, consume the content on an even keel, and not blow past through it. And then 3 months later, we're looking for something new to play because we just beat it all.
Right. And actually, let me clarify the crafting bit a little bit here, because I think people in chat are getting a little off center of what I was meaning. Either way, you're still going to need a lot of people to help you. Then you can craft this jeweled hilt instead of having to raid for it. That just means you've got to go to a bunch of different crafters who are masters, help them craft this part so that you can get this part of the hilt to combine it.
Oh, by the way,
it's still going to take a lot of people to help you.
Yeah. By the way, you had to get the schematic and the plan from this deep dark dungeon down here.
Yeah,
Right.
you're gonna fail 30 million times.
Exactly.
Right. Either way, you do. If it's basically in this step, you're going to need help from a lot of people. You could do this through a raid, easier way, in some respects, or you can craft it, which is an easier way in some other respects. But either way, it's not going to be individual. It's like each stage is basically going to be rated for solo group or, a large group.
Well, that's kind of like what I was thinking too. Is when we were talking about going to different zones and forging it and getting different things. You could do the same thing if the giving that piece different attributes based on your decision how you obtain that item.
Right.
So if you snuck to go get it, then you have maybe agility. If you went and you studied lore to get it, it's going to be plus intelligence. If you fought a battle for it, it's going to be strength and stamina. You know what I'm saying? Like those are different ways to introduce to make that gear or weapon special to your playstyle.
Right. Like you could still do a lot of stuff with this. You could say if I'm a crafter and I'm primarily going to craft my epic, and I still want to go for my class epic, which will obviously be a piece of gear. We don't know if there's anything like durability, stats like that on gear. We just don't know. But as an example, we'll say because you crafted it, the durability is higher. Who knows? You could shift it one way or the other. Also, when you're going between major stages of your epic, then what should probably happen is make that a puzzle. Either through lore or through clues or through maybe tiny little quests throughout, just mini side quests that just give you a hint for the next step. That's the part that makes you think you can do it on your own. Maybe there's a part where you go into a dungeon with a group and you're just like, oh, look, this painting, it shows the sword I'm obviously making, and it's some guy over in this snow-capped hill that looks an awful lot like the one that's over there, kind of thing. So, but regardless of how epic quests come together in Pantheon, as easy it is for us to talk about it, it's going to be on the developers to balance it. If we have just choices, it's up to them to balance it, because it has to be equal. Rafters have to be treated the same as raiders, have to be the same as primary groupers versus solars. Everything has to be equal. Everything needs to have a challenge. They have to put you out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. All right,
well as some to keep you in it.
Okay. Resum, Kodiak, since you two came with notes, do you have anything further on the quest portion of the epic to add on your notes? Anything there you want to toss in that we haven't talked about or anything like that?
Well, it's not that what you haven't covered, it's actually adding on to what you're currently talking about. And that is making sure that you have both aspects, the crafting and the raiding. Because I'm not a crafter, I'm a raider. Lex is right. So if me and Lex go into the dungeon, we get all 5 of these pieces. Let's say we go back to Thornfest, and Kodiak's the big, crafter in our guild. So I got to go to Kodiak. I say, hey, I needed to combine these items. What if it became like a spectacle to everybody in the city? Everybody's like, holy crap, Resum just got his epic item. Let's go watch Kodiak forge this thing. So Kodiak is there smashing on the metal, forming it. Out of nowhere, boom, a big energy surge where everybody around is getting a buff from this epic item that he is crafting. That maybe lasts 24 hours that no other class can give them. They got rewarded because they wanted to watch something that builds community.
Okay, cool.
Damn, Resum, you just blew the MMO universe to smithereens. You know that jet commercial where everybody's heads just explode into a purple mist? Resum, you just did that to me.
Yes.
Kodiak, you got anything further to add to it?
Hey, wake up.
Well, not after that.
He just blew
I ain't
Kodiak's ship out of the
following that.
water.
All right then. So we'll move on now to the weapons portion, and we'll kick it off with the idea that I think Lex and Dow kind of had, and I think Kodak contributed to that as well. Weapons. Should there be multiple weapons for you to attain as epics? Because we all know that in Pantheon it's going to be slightly different. You know, you're going to need certain weapons to fight off certain NPCs. You can't take a sword and just go and stick it to a skeleton, because you're not going to do any damage to it. And the same with, like, you know, let's say your spirits and stuff like that, zombies. You're going to need certain weapons to fence off these monsters. So should there be different epics for you to acquire?
This is what now, since you're going on this, I had an awesome epiphany that happened, and I thought about this too. What if your epic weapon really doesn't come with any stats at all, but it actually comes with slots? And now you've achieved the epic weapon that has, say, 20 different slots or 5 slots, well, however they decide the mechanic. This is just an example. Now, what we do is we discover that there's nine races, right? And how many classes? 12 classes so far, and then eventually be more. So each one of these races or each one of these classes can achieve an epic augment. And guess what? This epic augment can be crafted, and that can be given to a player. And when you get your epic weapon, guess what? You can plug that augment from that class or that player into your weapon, which, so let's just say, for an example, a rogue. The rogue achieves his epic status. He's got this epic augment that does +5 or +2. These are just speculation, so don't get all crazy out there in chat. But it's a +2 piercing. So now my epic weapon can hit anything out there and damage it with piercing. And then all of a sudden, guess what? The barbarian guy came in, or the berserker came in. Now he's got a crushing augment. Now I can augment my epic weapon with this crushing augment. Now I can do piercing and crushing with that weapon.
That's actually a
so you
pretty cool way.
Epic augments, and everybody can contribute. Now, let's just say for an example, the 12 classes. Say I can only use 6 of those 12 class augments. I mean, we could play with this all day, but it's just an idea that you actually achieve, and then you can actually contribute to somebody's epic weapon as a crafter even.
I think that would even make it for the devs a lot easier as well to...
Because no two epics will be alike.
Yep.
See right here, I put epic ruins and augs.
Thank you, buddy. He wrote that real quick out of the camera.
I could see this being on the dev side being a helpful adaptation to them for the designing and programming of it, because they could still create maybe 2 or 3 different looks of your epic weapon that you go out and get. And then with the augment system, it makes it a lot easier for them, because you then have to have these runes or augments put into your weapon, and then you unlock the different abilities of fighting, slashing, piercing, blunt, etc. So that's actually a pretty cool way to go about it. So we're going to touch on to that and see what the others have to say. Lex, what's your take on it?
Alright, I'm dealing with stuff. I completely spaced.
Okay, right, well, we'll move on to Resin.
Well,
then?
I mean, I like the idea, and it's completely viable. You can put spikes on a wood club, and it can do piercing and bashing. A sword can obviously slash and pierce. So, I mean, it's not too far for the imagination to think that my weapon can do both of these skills that I'm needing to get done. Do I think my sword can do slashing, piercing, and bashing? Probably not. But if I can have like two or three of the skills, right, turn it around. Yeah. But I mean, I like
it's got a switchblade at the end
to do both. That's a really creative idea.
Yeah, I think if you had like a primary, some blunt or slashing or whatever, and then you could aug it with the secondary, like build upon it. That's pretty cool.
Or I guess my shield could do bashing. I could put spikes on it, so there's piercing and bashing, so I can do everything now.
Yeah.
Just have to wait for that cooldown.
There you go.
Cool. So, how would you like the weapon to be, identified? Because obviously it's the it's an epic weapon. You've acquired this ultimate weapon. You've gone through the agony, the hours of or months of attaining this weapon. Should they look special?
Effects. It should look special. It should have effects, because I think every player wants their epic to look really cool.
To glow.
And glow, or have some really cool. But they have to make sense with the epic, not something super crazy weird. But it has to be cool looking. It has to represent, you know, all your hard work, and players can see it's a status, because we all know it's all about prestige and status. And we all go, oh wow, that guy's achieved his weapon. That looks really neat.
Yeah,
so that motivates other players to go, hey, you know, I'm gonna start working on my epic quest, because that's kind of cool.
I
hate skins, because that takes away from. I worked so hard. I got
fluff.
this. I got this.
You're talking about the fluff skins, right?
Yeah.
Fluff.
Like when you're buying, you know, whatever, you're paying real money or station things or whatever, right? So I worked for this bow, and it's got a fire proc, and it's awesome and everything, right? And then some guy buys a skin that just blows my hard work out of the water. And
I just had an epiphany, because based on Dow's augments and your runes idea.
I hit him upside the head with my cane.
Right, so this has got to basically do. It's a mix about spells. You know, most you know, in EverQuest 2, your epic weapon had a special spell on it, and I'm sure it was similar to, you know, in EverQuest and in multiple games like. So what about having your weapon as well have its own special kind of AA tree, where you could go down different, you know, depending on what augmentation you have, you could go down and choose different abilities for that weapon? Could you see something like that? Make, you know, bringing it up one more, adding more depth to your epic weapon, because we're talking about this weapon being something that once you've attained it, you want to keep it, and you want to make it useful throughout your whole entire time within Pantheon.
Hold on. 1 second, real quick, to shoot down what Shimana Dawn said that everybody epic's bow will look, for example. No, exactly. What I was going to say is this. You can have a fire augment on your epic that now augs it with fire. Or you have a green gem that actually augments it with poison, and it's glowing with that elemental or that poison or that awesome power of magic. Frost, poison, you name it. It's going to show that. So not every epic's going to look the same. So you can't say that and put it down like that everybody's going to be the same. No, we're saying it's going to be really cool and unique.
Now you take a piercing. Remember we were just talking about the
weapons,
piercing
aug, and now your bow's got a pierce.
Spikes. Now it's got spikes on your bow, right? Mm-hmm. Or you put a blunt, and now it's got, you know, something, you know.
Or a skull totem, and now it's got a skull at the ends. I mean, you can customize your weapon with different looks, so not every weapon is always going to look the same.
So getting back to my idea.
Yes, get back to your idea. Sorry, I just want to clear that up and make
because I was thinking the same thing, Gal.
We're thinking outside the box here, but we can't hit every damn wicket that everybody's thinking that. Well, I want my bow to have, you know, 10,000 rats
bringing up a good point here about
but it's actual in-game item that changes the look, not a stupid skin that you buy on a
skin that you buy.
That's the point.
Well,
they're saying they don't want wallet warriors.
Let's go and let Lex get in here quick, Vinny.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lex,
go ahead, buddy. Good point about how, you know, almost every game you see now, they got sparkly shit all over your character. You know, sparkly little auras and everything.
Ooh, sparkly.
While I don't think they need to take them out, I do think they need to be very uncommon. So, because, you know, let's face it, particles make you feel fancy. I don't care. They do.
Mm-hmm, they do.
They make you feel amazing.
But wouldn't it be nice if your particles actually did something?
It would be.
Yeah, exactly. Not just fluff.
But
yeah,
like say I do the final turn in to get my actual epic weapon. It would be nice if it was a randomized skin based upon 3 or 4 different designs that all look, you know, awesome in their own right. But then me as a Dialord can stand next to another Dialord with our epics, and we are different visually. You put in the talent idea or a leveling system for your epic weapon, and there all of a sudden our stats are different too because it's more tailored to what I want. To me, that will go a long way to just visually make things less redundant. And stat-wise, you feel like you've customized everything the way you do.
Yeah, because you could be the, you could be the Dialord of Fire, and the other one could be the Dialord of Ice. Depending on how you've gone for it.
You gotta earn that fire hog. You gotta earn that ice hog. You gotta earn that poison hog, right? And
so
if you're fighting in a frost area, of course you're going to have all your fire gear on because that is what the opposite of cold is, right? But that warrior is going to look different than another warrior that's fighting in a desert that's going to have, poison ogs or whatever. So they're not always going to look the same running around.
So trying to get back to my...
But people also have to keep in mind to keep it simple, stupid too, because you guys thinking with all these different customization options comes a lot of art and a lot of other database stuff too. So you got to keep it simple. So you're never ever truly in a game, an MMO, going to make people look different.
No, not going to work.
God honest truth, you're not going to be able to do that. It's impossible because of all the database. Unless you want to donate more money and help them and give them another art member to build up all tens of thousands of pieces, then please feel free to help them out. But we also got to keep in mind we can't be too over the top in asking some of these customizations. So we're trying to keep it simple but effective, but also nice and neat too. So go back to your thing.
So going back
to all these different ideas. Sorry, I'll beat this real quick. With all these other ideas,
don't make me get my cane.
Why not just say all of these ideas could work? Give them time to work on them and just say maybe the talent tree comes in the first expansion. Maybe some sort of augments come in the next one. Maybe some type of reskinning system comes in after that. That way you can say, these are all good ideas. We're going to give you time to rebalance everything, with all this foresight. But just take it in whatever order and however you see fit.
Kodiak, wait, no. We're going to carry on with my idea now. Yeah, it's been hanging in the air. So what's the thought on having like a ultimate, the AA ability to your weapon, giving you different options? What's your take on that, guys?
I would love to see the AAs go into, you have your class AAs, you have your weapon AAs, you have, gear AAs, you have defensive AAs, you have offensive AAs, having different, things where you could just tons and tons of hundreds of different options of how that you want to do with your character.
Down? AA ability for your epic weapon? Something cool or something...
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, that could be a change, like maybe, say, on a different expansion, perhaps. I mean, there's so many ways they could go with the epics. I mean, some classes, let's say, have to use an AA. Some classes don't have an AA. This keeps the epic alternative advancement. So it keeps it an alternative. So say this guy raided and he gets his because he actually went on a raid, an organized raid, and they got it through a raid mob, part of his epic. But let's just say for you don't want to go on the raid, so you're not a raider. So guess what? You're going to have to achieve it through experience points, through an alternate advancement system where you can unlock bits and pieces. So the guy who went on a raid, he likes to raid, guess what? He went risk reward, he killed himself 10,000 times, but guess what? He finally achieved it, while you don't want to go get killed 10,000 times. You want to take the long way around.
AAs for me is like, especially when you hit max level and you're trying to acquire, those little mini dings, trying to get 2 or 3, 4 or 5 AAs a night or whatever, that's what keeps the game interesting.
It's like opening a door to, I'm all about character customization. So, I talked about the AAs earlier when we first kind of started. But, like if a wizard is all about the arcane skills, his weapon should give him more arcane abilities, or even some that he can't access as a player that he can only use while having his epic.
Because I've always been about basically, giving people the option of virtually feeling different, because everybody wants to be that special person. That I want to be the special character. I want to be the hero in this story. And with stuff like this, adding, AAs towards your weapon and making it look different, etc., and having your armor be able to advance itself, that makes your play style how you want it to be. It makes you look different. It makes, because Kodiak and Delincia, they might both be, a shaman, and they both acquired the epic weapon, but Kodiak's gone down, the AA tree number 1, and Dow's gone down the AA tree number 2. They're now playing. They're still identical, but they're playing 2 different styles, and it makes them unique. Because that's what we've always been missing in today's MMOs. Is everything's unique? No, we're not unique in today's MMOs. Nobody is unique.
That's why
everybody's on rails.
And that's why I said, like, if how you play your cleric, right? If you want to play him as a battle cleric, then you're going to spend your AA points in a different way than somebody who wants to be a raid cleric who wants to be the ultimate healer. It
Yep.
doesn't
What he's
worry
talking
about
is
getting
if
hit.
you have two
doesn't
battle clerics, what's different between the two battle clerics? That's what he's kind of
Well,
talking
one's
about.
maybe
exactly.
going to specialize in weapons, and the other one's going to specialize in defense.
Right,
Yeah.
and I agree with that. And that's
Offensive.
kind of what he was saying.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was getting at,
But we gotta
basically.
be careful. Don't multi-class, all right? Let's not get into that multi-class shit, because Dal hates it, and I will whip out my cane and start
Well,
beating everybody.
I'm sorry, but you know, a battle
Just
cleric
AAs and
is
they
fine.
get multi-class, so
So, anybody, or actually Kodiak, Resum, any notes on your, notebooks about weapons you wanna add,
hold on, let me
talk
write
about?
one down real quick. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, see? I told you. He stole my idea and wrote it down like he did it, see?
So, Resum, you got anything on your notes about the
Well, no, we
weapons?
actually covered it all, the AAs, the skills, making sure we
Yeah.
have it early enough to where we get to use it before
All right, then.
raid
So
gear
we'll move on
replaces it.
to.
I like the what he was talking. Sorry, real quick about weapons. When you were talking about the more you use it, the higher you get. I mean, it's basically like a skill tree for like slashing or blunt or whatever. But if you actually attach that to a single particular weapon, would be kind of cool.
I mean, that's what
Like you get attuned to that weapon and you feel more familiar with that weapon.
That's what we've been talking about for ages.
Yeah.
On and off our shows is basically once you reach that epic gear. It's something special, and I hated that in EverQuest 2. They did exactly the same thing what they did in EverQuest 1. You had your epic weapon number 1, and then they brought out number 2, and your epic weapon number 2 became useless, but they fixed that, luckily. You could then turn your epic weapon number 1 into a spell, into a buff that you would get that had all the abilities from the weapon itself, but you still would have your epic weapon number 2 as your main weapon and have that spell running for epic weapon number 1. That's how they kind of fixed it, because it is, I spent months, maybe a year and a half trying to acquire all this epic stuff, and then an expansion comes out and it gets blown to pieces. We don't want that anymore. This constant rinse and repeat and going back from, square one. You go.
Sales gimmicks.
Yep.
Well,
It's.
if I earn something, I want to build upon what I've earned.
Yep.
Like you said, make it
Exactly.
better, make it.
'Cause I mean-
don't come out with something new that replaces what I just spent.
Yep. They don't
Yeah.
have. They
Months,
don't.
2 weeks
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
Or
I may need to hand over my Epic 1 to get my 1.5, but you have to do your Epic 1 to get your 1.5.
Yeah.
You can't bypass it.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I spent 8 years playing EverQuest, achieving all these things, and then they come out with crap that just completely trumps everything I've done. No, I want you to add to what I've done. That makes it more interesting, and it makes me feel like my time has been invested. Because believe it or not, the MMO genre has kind of lost sight, and sales and marketing has lost sight, and they want to play this, hey, let's wash and reset and make them redo everything again, and they'll keep buying, keep playing. No, eventually we get tired of it, and eventually we go away and you don't have your loyal customer base anymore. But if you build upon what I've already put my time into, I'm going to continue to be a loyal customer, a loyal player, because you're rewarding my play time by allowing me to continue to advance my character in a nice, balanced fashion. And I earned that, and I feel better about it. And the time invested, I will stay longer. But as soon as you start chopping my time investment that I put into this game or my item, I'm going to walk away. After 8 years, after 8 years of EverQuest, I walked away because they unlocked all the key zones for players in EverQuest. That we had to actually achieve pieces and parts to get to, and we worked so hard as a guild to get it, and then they say, hey, guess what? Everybody 65, you can go to these keyed zones now. Congratulations, welcome aboard. You didn't have to do crap, but poor Dal and his guild over here worked so hard for a whole year to get all these key bits and pieces together as a community, and we just shat all over them.
All right,
That's how we all felt. So that's what I'm saying is the developers need to take and go away from that approach and start going to a better balanced approach and continue to reward players for being loyal customers, loyal fans of the genre.
Right, so
That's
can
what they
we
need to do.
carry on with armor now, please? What would you what would you guys like to see? How would you like to see the armor be acquired, and how it should look? And what advancements could you possibly do with your armor because basically, let's be honest, you get your armor, you're gonna wear it for the rest of your life. Technically, you would wear that.
Like I said, I would like to see like level progressions or tier progressions with your armor or whatever. Like let's say you obtain some boots at level 10, right? well, like you said, like I want to hold on to those boots and maybe turn them in or swap them out for another bit as I get older. The same thing with spell effects, right? So if your armor comes with a level 20 spell effect, and it's a level 20 whatever, when you upgrade that to a level 30, so should the spell effect. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to upgrade everything. So like going from Spirit of the Wolf to Spirit of the Cheetah, you know, or I mean, I don't know, just something, you know, going from Bravery to Temperance, you know. Anyway, that should upgrade as well. But I love clicky armor. Like, I used to buy clicky armor, even if, as long as I could click on it from my backpack and give me a buff or whatever.
Or proc?
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I would
that was
accumulate,
Velis.
yeah, clicky armor, just like it was crack, you know? Because I was like, I had to fill up my whole buff bar with my own clicky armor. It was awesome. I used to love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm of the same school. I love clicky stuff.
Yep.
But this will go for weapons and armor. Like, you know how most games they keep out and go, like, they bind on equip to help their economy. Doing stuff like your skill trees or special customizations, that would be a valid reason why it's bound to you, because the talent, just for example, the talent tree. It's what I did to make this weapon unique. It is now mine. I can't give it to anyone else. So I understand bind it on equip for that kind of instance. Also, Shaman of Dawn had a very good idea about reforging things. So you can break it back down, use those components in a quest to make it stronger. Great idea. I love that. Because then you're constantly making it relevant throughout the expansions. The thing with armor is, how do you make it unique without saying you need the whole set? Because, you know, there's obviously probably going to be set bonuses. How do you balance these set bonuses to be valid through 2 pieces versus 5 pieces? How do you make it so that you put all the time into this thing, but it's no good in this area because of excessive heat or whatnot?
Well,
that's where the AAs would come into play.
The AUGs or the AAs,
right,
I think, would come into place, because you would have these boots, but then you'd be able to specialize them to your gameplay versus via AAs and or AUGs or ruins or whatever.
Yeah, I know some people aren't happy with the whole like AA talent tree style for weapons and armor. I know a lot of people are very worried about that, and that's understandable. I am too, kind of. But what if you did something like this? You had multiple tiers available, okay, for each item. And it's just small bonuses, like extra heat resistance, maybe a little bit of armor class, who knows, right? But your basic magical item only has tier 1. You go up to, like, you know, the further up you go, quality of the item depends on how much tiers they have. That would make your epic also highly desirable over raid gear, because say raid gear gets to tier 4 in those customizations, all of a sudden your epic, be it armor or weapon or whatnot, goes up an additional tier. Right there, I would suffer less DPS or less armor or less hit points for that extra customization personally.
Can I just quickly butt in? I just had a brain fart here. This is going into the crafting part. But, you know, based on the idea saying that, you know, there are a lot of people that have problems with the AA system in weaponry and armor, etc. What about having it that crafters could attain, you know, a epic level of whatever, and they could then take your armor piece or your weapon, and depending on where you want to go, let's say for instance now we know that we're going to go to the Frost Isle and do some stuff down there. We're going to go and beat down some monsters down there. But my armor piece that I've got on now is accustomed to maybe heat and whatnot. So I can go out and seek out an epic crafter, and he can basically go and change that ability from fire or from frost to fire to help me out there. Doing it that way instead of going through the AA route. So you could basically always change your armor pieces out by going to a crafter who's obtained that ability to work on the epics.
And you could do that and break that down with, like, poison. You could break down that with fire, but you can only achieve 1 epic status in that range of magical abilities or defensive abilities. For, say, you can only become an epic crafter in the element of fire. you're a epic master, grandmaster, crafter of poison augs. So now you can make an epic poison aug. Like, it's going back to the augment idea of auging epic weapons.
Exactly.
I think it's a great idea because that gives you customization options, and not every player is going to be the same. So it gives you the ability to kind of change your epic weapon up a little bit, and I think that should be an ability and be allowed. And I'm for it. I like that idea too.
Yeah.
The thing
and
I
it doesn't
don't
have
like
to be
is
very complex.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be complex at all. It could just be like tier 1, you choose between +1 AC, +1 to ice or cold. Then it goes up to tier 2 and it's like +1 dex or +1 fire. And then you just pick and choose, and it's very simple because we'll say for like the best item in the game, max you got to tier 5. That's 5 choices you make. Click, 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 click. Done. You could even bring in the crafting people and say, in order to respec my item, take it to a crafter and he can reset it.
Yep. That's exactly that promotes player interaction.
Resum?
Promotes customization options.
Well, I'm afraid
Gotcha.
people are getting caught on the idea of armor or your weapon having one specific type of resistance, because every armor is going to have a base magical resistance.
Yep.
Whether it be ice, fire, lightning, arcane, it has protection against all of that. However, depending who crafts it or where you craft it, adds more towards fire or more towards ice. You're not replacing just ice, just fire, because you have protection against all this stuff, but you're getting more protection depending on where you're going.
Yeah,
I think that's
plussing
where
where
the
you're going.
miscommunication may be being had.
I like that idea.
Yep. I mean, you can
Because
aug
every
it out.
tank needs
increase it.
basic magic protection.
Exactly.
I mean, clerics have the buff to do it. I mean, armor's going to have it, but you can go more into this if you're going to, say, lava storm. You got more fire protection.
Because you know where you're going to go when you get together.
Yeah, you're not just going to randomly go, hey, let's just wander.
I mean, you might do that every now and then.
Here to go somewhere.
Yeah,
But when you plan a night out with the guys or with the guild and everything, you have set goals.
Talk ahead of time.
You talk ahead of time, so and it should take us time to prepare our armor and everything. I mean, it gives you something to do. It makes everybody. It's an artificial time sink, and it makes people actually pay attention to what they're doing. Learn to play your class, prepare yourself accordingly.
Not just, hey, let's log in, jump in, and go.
Yeah.
You actually have to think about what you're doing, what your plan is, where you're going, why you're going. There's obviously always a reason why you're going to certain places, or you're just out for the adventure and you're going to wander around, and then you're going to learn as you're wandering what areas are very dangerous and hostile to you. So you're going to have to augment your weapons and items for each area that you go to.
So touching on the idea that Kodiak brought up earlier on, not the idea, the thing that's been done for ages. Armor bonuses. You have 2 sets of armor, you get this bonus. You have 3 sets, you get the next bonus gets added. Do you guys want to see that again? Would you like to see that? I kind of love the idea of having, a full set of armor and then getting the full bonus from it. But in some games, it just got out of hand because they had set bonuses on almost everything that would be out there. And then they only had set bonuses for certain items and missed out on quite a few because they didn't carry on finishing up the set items. So I could see, for me personally, the epic weapon... I could see for the epic portion of armor and everything having a set bonus on there. Everything else, I don't need it. Definitely not, because that makes it special.
Make it cookie cutter also, right? And that's what we don't want. We don't want cookie cutter. We want to be able to customize our gear, our armor, how I play, right? So that's why I would much rather go with an AUG system versus a bonus set system.
Well, see, you could do a bonus set too with AUGs. See, now you broke your cookie cutter. Because not everybody's sets are going to be the same. If you do the augment and the set bonus, say you get the hands and the boots together, that gives you a +5 to magic. Now you get the crown, the headpiece, and the belt. Now that gives you a +5 to fire. So that's part of your set. So you can actually make your set a little bit different, but then guess what? As a player, I can augment that now, and I can offset my belt different than any other player. I got poison, while this mage has got fire for whatever reason. He wants fire. That keeps the epics a little bit different too. It keeps it changed up. It's not cookie cutter. Who's got the best gear? Well, I don't know. Is he the best mage because he's got a +fire aug? Well, I got a +5 to poison. No.
No,
You know
but
what
what
I'm
it's saying
saying?
is basically like if I say, oh, I just got this raid drop belt or whatever, and it doesn't fit with that armor set, now I lose out on something?
We'll put
No.
it in the guild bank for somebody else who may be able
To
to use
use.
it, or.
Mhm.
But I see your point though. There's advantages and disadvantages because ESO did this. There's armor sets in there, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I don't like the
Because
armor sets. That's just my personal
because
opinion.
I'm a tank and I have to get this one set of armor, or else I'm not going to be as good as these other tanks who have it.
But see,
Mhm.
that's your perception. That's everybody's perception, though. That's the thing. The key is using augments and everything. Not every set's going to be the same. You can always change it up. And if they keep it balanced, no tank is ever going to be better than any other tank class. I think the three are basically even keel, and that's where they're trying to go with this. Is that the warrior is not going to be the ultimate meat shield.
I would say
Pantheon.
if that's the case, then if it is an armor set, maybe it has one less AUG slot. If
But
it's
see, here-
not part of a set, then it has an additional AUG slot, so that way you can customize it yourself to offset that set. And then it should keep it pretty much even.
I mean,
Yeah.
we talk. I
Does
mean,
that make sense?
yeah, we talked. I mean, we're talking about weapons and armor, but I haven't seen it done in EverQuest 2, as far as I remember. I don't know how it was in EverQuest 1, but Epic. Yeah, we always talk about weapons and armor. What about jewelry? That's another thing that I forgot.
That would go with the gear. That would go with the gear. That would go with your armor and stuff. That's what I'm saying. Whatever slot you can fill, you can put an epic piece or item in, is what I was thinking outside the box wise. And that could be earrings, that could be rings, that could be a backpack. You could have an epic backpack to achieve. I mean, there's so much you could do with the epic system, is what I'm saying. I don't want to see epic single to your epic weapon. Everybody's around the weapon. No, because every player is going to have a different type of epic because they worked on a different epic quest line.
If they want to make armor and weapons, they said, oh, they want to make that item important, so you can be like, oh, I have this. It's not just some random name of an armor thing, right? Then that's why I think that it needs to grow with you, as well as sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Anyways, yeah, they want to make it important, so it needs to be a living, breathing entity.
Yep. Anything else to add, Lex?
Only thing that I'll add is that talent system, AUG system, however they want to do it, it doesn't matter to me. But what I feel should really be there is the fact that the higher the quality of the item, the more customization should be available to it. That's what needs to make it a special item. Like in WoW, you're decked out in all this purple epic gear. Well, it's not really epic. There's nothing good about it. I mean, it's got more stats, but it's just a high stat version of green gear, What makes it epic? Nothing.
Right, that's what I got down. More than just stats. But one thing I also like is class armor. Class armor looks. That's very important for any epic armorers to know. Holy crap, that guy's a Shadow Knight. He looks like a Shadow Knight.
Well,
and that's hard to do.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And the thing I liked about here's EverQuest, just to kind of throw it in there in the mix, like the mage epic weapon summoned an air elemental pet. What did the epic weapon of a paladin do? Anybody think about it? What did it do?
Somebody
chat?
I think it had
Like an
on it.
AVNC?
See, that's what I'm saying. So each person, each class is going to have a different epic. It's going to do something different. So as a magician, for example, it gives me the ultimate cool freaking pet that I've just earned. Okay? So I got the pet. So each piece or epic item that you achieve can have a different proc. It could have something different. They could have, say I could get the epic gloves of a paladin. And it gives me some sort of cool epic ability, but it's not something that's going to kill balance. So I could actually get an epic set of paladin gloves. I could get an epic warrior, helm for my mage or some shit like that, perhaps. But it gives me, say, some sort of weird elemental bonus. Whatever. That's what I'm saying. You could do things like that to make epics, because they're proc abilities. Because I think Velas did a really good job of giving a clicky proc, so you get a clicky proc to an epic weapon or epic item. That's a possibility too, to take the epic a little bit further.
Yeah, but technically you wouldn't be able to wear the armor gloves because it's heavy armor. It's plate.
It's the liners inside. Come on, man. It's the padding inside. Come on. I took the armor off. I didn't like it. It wasn't pretty with my rings and stuff, but I got this nice leather pattern from inside the glove. Come on.
No, I kind of think they should keep it class restricted. To be honest with you guys, when it comes to your epics, you should have your class restrictions because you're going out for your class to go and achieve this. And if you can go and mix and match and grab stuff, then it's not really special.
Yeah. Plaid gloves, I like it. It's pretty cool.
Anyway, anything else to add towards the armor? Kodiak, you got anything on your notes?
Ooh. Oh, I may have something. I think it would be cool that if you were doing a class one, like if you were, let's say, crafting the armor, if a dwarf was crafting the Shadow Knight armor versus a Scar doing the Shadow Knight armor, they would look different but have somewhat the same properties. And that's how you could get the Shadow Knight look, but yet being looking different, because different races are crafting that armor for you. Maybe it would have different stats, something like that.
Yeah,
Because a Scar pattern would be different than a Dwarf pattern, but they would both be Shadow Knight patterns nonetheless.
there's different ways you could change it up, but ultimately a lot of times it's stat, stat, stat. But if we can even change to where the epic item is actually not a stat pad at all, but it can be just a proc, a clicky proc that you're earning. A special buff.
Alright, so we'll move on.
A group buff that your clicky item does.
We'll move on to spells, but before we do that, Dal, it's your time to do the disclaimer.
My disclaimer time. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen out there in the jury, Twitch stream, whatever. We speculate on this show. Some of the things and ideas we come up are theory crafting, brainstorming, out-of-the-box ideas that we like to give to the devs so they can brainstorm over them too, maybe think about it. What we talk about, some of the stuff that we do talk about is actually projected to be in game or maybe not in game. It all depends. The devs can change it. But what we talk about here is not actually going in the game. It's just speculation, ideas we're trying to throw out there. You're more than welcome. Come on, share your opinions, your ideas. If you don't like it, too bad. We're theory crafted. Okay? Don't sit there and bash us in our stream, troll us, because we're giving out ideas and thinking of things. We're not out there trolling you and bashing you for your ideas. We actually embrace your ideas and try to bring them up and even expand on your ideas. So please don't bash us in our stream, because we will call you out. But I just want to let you know that...
You will.
I will too. I will call you out. And some of you are getting close to me to call you out and destroying you and humiliating you publicly. But just to let you know, we're here. We embrace the community. We love the ideas. We've taken topics on the post, and we bring them into our stream to expand upon them. And there's a lot of good feedback that comes from these. And we want to keep positive for Pantheon, the Rise of the Fallen. And we want VR to see some of these ideas because the community is passionate. We're passionate about our games. We love our games. But don't beat each other up over our ideas and squander somebody's idea, because believe it or not, their idea might expand onto something really cool you never even thought about. So that's my disclaimer today. So remember, be positive, work together, project ideas. Who knows, maybe all of our ideas get squished on and Pantheon comes out with something even better than what we even thought about.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind.
Brainstorming.
So, touching on now the topic epic and spells. Kodiak looks like he's got something to say there. Do you want to go and lead off?
Yes. So I think that epic spells could be huge. Not as far as like specialization spells we were talking about, like when each class, gets a specialization, but as far as customizing your spells with like epic ruins, or would they have the seal of amplifications, or brand of resilience, or signets of synergy, having epic versions of those to put into your codex to make your spells more powerful, last longer, all that kind of stuff.
Yep, that was what I was going to kind of get on. Is we all know that there's you got your adept spells, you got your master spells, etc., your master 2 and whatnot, and that's where it basically stops. What about adding the epic portion towards that, but it being something really, really tough to acquire? You might have to go on a long journey within yourself to obtain it. It could take you months for you to obtain that spell.
Obtaining would be the Ruin Stone or something, or the Seal of Amplification, but an epic version to put into your codex to make that spell more,
Yeah, I like the idea of an epic spell ability, because that gives you that uniqueness about your class. You could actually have 2 epic spell abilities. Let's say, a cleric can choose. He doesn't get both, however, but say the cleric can choose to enhance his defensive shield barrier, or he can get an offensive type of awesome, powerful spell that makes his shield defense, stronger, more powerful, or healing, much more stronger than this cleric. So it kind of makes you a little bit unique cleric, but it doesn't hamper you. But it gives you an epic ability over another cleric, perhaps. So it does kind of keep you a little bit different from the other cleric that's playing next to you or in another group. So I can see that, and it should take you a while to achieve it, because why do we play these games? We're playing these games to be kind of unique ourselves as individuals, and I achieved this awesome goal, just me. I made it, I did it, and now I'm cool, and the group's going to want me because I achieved the epic power heal spell.
Exactly.
So that's why we play these things, because you want to feel important in your group. It's not, nobody wants to be better than anybody but yourself. Always want to be better than anybody. You always want to be special in your group, so you want to be able to achieve these things.
You want to be sought out. Like,
you want to be sought.
I want Kodiak because he's, an amazing
He's got this
shaman,
cool, he's an amazing
right?
shaman, he's got this amazing spell, he achieved it. That's awesome amazingness. But then you got your trolls, and your trolls are like, no, that's not fair that Kodiak got his epic troll spell and it beats my troll spell. Well, guess what? Too bad, he earned it, he worked for it. You have to do the exact same thing he went through. Why should I give it to you? That's why we make ourselves different, is because we work hard to achieve these goals. And some people are going to fail at that goal in these games, because guess what? That's why it's a game. It is a challenge. You have to achieve victory. It's not given, it's earned. You never win for free. There's always pain and suffering to be the winner on top. That's plain and simple. That's life. That's the way it is. That's the way games are, because why do we human beings make games challenging? Because chess, two people. What? Because this guy beat you in chess 20 times and you get your butt handed to you? Guess what? You suck at chess, so figure a way to beat him. We're not going to give you a cheat to beat him. You got to think. You got to figure out a strategy so you can come back and beat him. On the day that you beat him in that chess game, guess what?
You're going to feel epic.
Feel awesome.
You're going to feel epic.
Feel epic because you defeated him. That's
you're
that
gonna
feeling
jump around
you get.
screaming and cheering.
And saying, yeah, I beat Kodiak's troll spell. I slayed that troll.
Because, I mean,
That's how you're going to feel.
I mean, we've all said it. We've all talked about our experiences in our MMOs. I mean, Dow said it at the beginning of the stream. You start off, you've played for years, for months, whatever, and all of a sudden this major update comes out and they're giving everybody everything. I had to go through hell on earth to achieve all of that you're getting for free. That's not fair. That's not how it should be. I don't, why did I invest this time? Why did I stick to this game? Why did I choose this game instead of the other game? Because it had that challenge to it. And now they take it away. And,
They just diminished my progress, and they diminished the feelings and the time and the money and my fun. They've diminished it now by giving it to you freely. So now you can teleport all around the world when I earned that spell to teleport my friends.
Yep.
So why should you get it for free? You didn't do crap and you bought the game last week.
So, anyway, getting back to spells. Who's got an idea? Resim, you got anything? Resim, you got anything? I guess you might have.
I'll try to take it. I don't know how to follow that, though.
Yeah,
so the epic spell should really define you as a player. I mean, the summoner's obviously the easiest one to represent. Like, if he wants to go pyromancer, he should have an epic pyromancer spell. He's an aeromancer, he should have an epic aeromancer spell. It should really define you of what type of player that you are.
Yes, Dark Soul, I love it.
It should help specialize you for sure. One thing that I would be worried about is that it becomes far too overpowered. Like, say, well, just take heal over time from a cleric. So you get an epic version of it, and it does twice as much, or lasts twice as long. You're getting into the realm of that's a little OP, and we all know how overpowered things get dealt with in MMOs. Everything else gets boosted to bring it up to par with what's overpowered.
Ox, I'm calling you out. Don't be trolling.
So I would love to see something like maybe just it's much more efficient. Maybe it adds a little bit of a buff.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that same idea, Flex.
Yep, that's cool. I like
it. Have it be nothing that actually impacts like a fight, but maybe it's a buff duration or I don't know, something
to where one-on-one. Yes, this epic one is better, obviously, but it's something where if you don't have it, you're still viable.
Or it shortens your casting time or something.
Yeah,
like
because
that.
otherwise
Of
we're going to start finding
of non-detrimental spells or
right. Yeah, because eventually we're going to start seeing stuff looking for more for Black Dagger Keep must have epic heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, crap.
Or maybe you earn red mana faster or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The epic spells should be basically they shouldn't be something that advances you, damage wise and stuff like that. It should just be an offensive or defensive addition, but it shouldn't be something that is recognizable. So I've got now this epic heal that heals 20,000 instead of 15,000 and makes the other cleric look like a dumbass because he hasn't got that spell.
Yeah, you scribe your spells faster.
Hey, no, he's not dumbass. Not like that.
No, but that's what would happen basically.
Well, I was thinking that the epic spells would be save the day spells, not every
rather an offensive spell.
5-second spam cast spell. I was thinking
that's a good idea, Rez. Yeah, it's a save the day spell.
Spam.
I mean, there's so many ways we can go with it, because like we are now discussing theory crafting on spells. I mean, there's so many things we can do. So that's another option now that Resin's thrown into the mix. What about looking at the spells being something like, the last resort? Your epic spell is a last resort spell.
We talked about that kind of back in the day, a few streams ago.
Yeah,
a last resort for the Dire Lord, wasn't it? I did some sort of thing about the Dire
Yeah,
Lord.
we did paladins with the two shields and
Yep, the two shield discussion.
Got pissed off about
Hey,
trolls. Trolls got angry.
Idea if you could double up, bunker down.
That's when I didn't have my cane of 1,000 truths, so I could destroy trolls in the stream. But now I have it, so be wary, be watchy.
So,
that's I think defensive or
once
resort.
an hour, once 24
cooldown.
hours, whatever.
Basically, to act like ultimate abilities that you'd see like in Elder Scrolls Online.
How could you?
Super long cooldown. It does a big finish kind of thing.
What about having something with the epic spell and the climax system? Could you see something like that?
Like it has its own climax mana system?
Maybe, yeah.
That way you can't use it all the time. You got to earn it.
Yep.
Earn it to use it.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta build up the power and then boom.
Yeah, that's cool. And just unleash, pow.
And if you're not in a zone that has that certain mana type, well, maybe
So what happens
might want to go somewhere else.
if you're a non-caster class?
Too bad. Sucks to be you. You should pick the caster class, right? Plain and simple. I'm gonna tell you. That's where I get to this. But it's not fair.
Because then you guys talking about like whatever. Then it would go back to like a rage meter. When it fills up, then you can use it, or a damage meter. If you're a scout.
Bruce Banner needs to get mad enough to turn into the Hulk, baby.
You get a cool bash. The warrior gets this ultimate bash that creates an earthquake, opens up the earth, and the mob falls in and closes up. Whoa.
That might be a bit much.
But that's kind of cool sounding, though, wasn't it?
Goodbye,
it is.
boss.
I mean, to actually use that example, you could do something where, you build up enough, and all of a sudden now you get like a shield bash cleave, where it affects a huge sweeping 180 degrees in front of you.
And it smacks every mob in front of you.
All the enemies.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's
if you balance what it does, if it stuns, short duration stuns. If it adds threat, make sure it's a acceptable amount of threat, damage, and all that. That's something
But it's a
I'd
last
go
resort
for.
thing. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, just bam, 1 second stun. Start running.
The Uber Walker of awesomeness. Be careful, that might be coming to a theater near you.
So anybody got anything else on spell ideas?
No, I really truly like the idea of them being an epic spell being maybe a defensive or last resort spell would be kind of cool with a global cooldown. It's cool. I mean, there's so many ways they could do this, but people always have to remember, guess what? The player earned it. I'm tired of this. It's not fair. Seriously, because guess what? As an individual player, you earn what you get. Okay? And I'm tired of hearing that, well, what if my playtime is limited hour? Well, too bad. I guess you should work that time out later on.
Go play Counter-Strike.
It's the same with I want the raid gear, but I never go raiding.
Yeah. Or hey, guess what, guys? This guy's got 20 hours of no life, and he lives in his parents' basement, and he's basically like living on welfare with his mom and dad in the basement. But he can spend 24 hours a day playing the game. Dal works for 8 hours a day, comes home, has to feed his dogs, take care of his family and stuff, and then he can sit down and play for 3 hours. But you don't hear me bitching about, I want the epic cleric spell of awesome coolness, because guess what? It's not fair. He's got more time than me. Well, guess what? He's got more time than me. That's life. That's how it works.
Yep.
So guess what? I gotta earn it. I'm gonna earn it and take my time getting there.
So we'll move on. We're going to try and get away from all this bitterness from the grumpy old man.
Keep it positive, Dal.
It's called.
Keep it positive. So we're moving on.
Scrolls that come into the view and start demanding things and convenience. It makes Dal angry, and he has to pull out his cane and remind them.
Own point of view.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Their point of view, but sometimes it's
sucky. I'm gonna go and call out. Let me just call it out right there, right now. Anybody in chat who wants to troll around, come on our show. I'll give you the team speak right now. Voice your opinion, or shut the hell up. Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to voice your opinion, troll me, then bring it on. Bring it on the show. Put your face on camera.
Right now.
Be respectful.
Yep.
You have to watch your language.
Yep. Yes. So there, you've now been offered the chance to come onto the show.
Do all kinds of things.
We'll link you to TeamSpeak if you want to come on and do whatever and talk with us and discuss our ideas and have a different opinion. Come on the show and do it. Don't troll in chat. Right, enough of that. Moving on to crafting. Epic crafting. Thoughts? Who wants to start?
I think I kind of hit that up earlier, but yeah, epic crafting, epic augs, epic, scrolls that you have to achieve to create this epic item for a player that might plug into his epic, or it gives him part of his epic sword hilt. He has to go through this crap. He gets the inscription off the wall, and guess what? He brings you this inscription. Now, guess what? You carve it into his sword hilt. Ba-bam! It turns into this epic hilt. Now he has to gain the rest of the pieces, and another player could do that and add to his epic. So, I mean, you can make the epic's player interaction or player craftable, too. I mean, that would be awesome. Awesome system for the crafting system, because then I think a lot of people would love to dabble in crafting then, too. So they play with the crafting mechanic. There's so much they can do with Epic. I'm just tired of seeing the same old where you go kill mob A, beat him down, get your piece, combine at the end, ta-da, you have your Epic. No, I see a lot of player interaction. They want to promote social interaction, players working together, overcoming challenges. This is one way they could do that too, is through the crafting system. So that you can fight a mob for a piece, you can craft a piece with another player, you can find one through a scroll master, whatever it is. You can add these bits and pieces along the way to create your epic. Like Lex said earlier, make it a journey, make it interesting, make it work together and achievable. I have never could understand why I had to go to the plainest sky to grab a crown to turn it in to get an epic piece.
Yep.
What's the big deal about the crown? But you needed that to be able to complete the epic.
I just think that this type of a game should touch on all aspects of the game, right? The reason why we're playing this game. So, and even if, so you should have to craft some parts, you should have to kill for some parts, you should have to find some parts, you should have to, explore, you should have to get a community together to go do a raid, you should have to go talk to people, just all these little things. You should have to travel to other continents, just make it so that we're having to experience every aspect of the game.
Yep, risk reward. You go take the risk, guess what? You get rewarded.
Yep. And I mean, like, Shaman at Dawn brings up a good point, too. Like, if those who are familiar with the Forgotten Realms books, Wolfgar, the Human Barbarian, his Warhammer, I think it was called Aegis Fang, that was a crafted item, but that is an epic, badass item. Mm-hmm. So I don't see any reason why you couldn't craft one. Yep. But it should be just as difficult as a raider would find. Like, maybe you've got a raid to get the hilt, or to get some kind of special blood so that you can craft the piece, I'm cool with that, and I'm not a crafter at all. I freaking hate crafting. Because that's just the way that games have turned me. I hate crafting. But I want to love it. I'm cool with a crafter being able to make an epic. As long as he has to go through the same amount of pain and suffering as I have to as a raider. Then we're cool.
Yep.
What if they had crafting epic gear? Like they did with in Vanguard. You had your crafting gear, you had your adventuring gear, and then you had your diplomacy gear. So what if you had certain gear that was for crafting, and you had an epic version of that crafting gear?
I'd be cool with that too. That would to me, if the crafting is enjoyable, to me that's something where, the crafting is enjoyable. That gives me something else to do, and I'm going to do it because the fact that it's going to help my crafting, and I'm having a good time crafting, even if it's optional, I have to do it. That's just my personality. I have to do it because it's going to make my life easier, and I'm having fun doing it.
Right. That's cool. I don't have a problem with that either. I think crafting, should be part of the Epic system. I agree. It should be encompass all aspects of the game.
As long as you can craft, like Weaponsmith can maybe craft like an AUG, like you said, that will give your weapon blunt, slashing, piercing, whatever, some type of AUG. Armor smiths can craft an armor AUG that gives more AC that people can pump into their epic weapons. But it's something that's going to be hard to obtain. Like you said, you might have to go farm this blood, this special blood that's very rare, and you have a chance of failing. It's not going to be an instant combine. Like, let me go farm these and make 300 of them and then flood the market. No, it's going to be hard to obtain, hard to craft. You're going to, but that's part of being a grandmaster anything. You want to be a grandmaster raider? You got to put some time into it. You want to be a grandmaster adventurer? A crafter or lore person or any of that stuff. You got to put time into it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like with Necros, he has a concern that he's going to end up walking all over the place, all over the world. Well,
they already talked about having mounts.
Yeah. Well, there's mounts, but yes, I understand the foot travel takes a long time, but you're going to be doing stuff along the way. You're going to get sidetracked. Hopefully, if they do the questing system well enough and the world is immersive enough, you'll get sidetracked. I know I am, and that's part of the journey. So that if I've got 3 hours to play and I know it's going to take me like 4 hours to get over to this new continent because I have to walk, okay, but I'm going to do stuff along the way. It's my choice to keep myself entertained, or I could just go on auto run, or maybe I pay the money to get a character to take me where I got to go. It's not necessarily that you're going to be spending an hour just trudging along on your little footsies, It's, perception system. What happens along the way? We don't know.
Exactly.
You might get ambushed. Maybe something happens in the area. Maybe there's an area dynamic quest like you see in Guild Wars where you walk through the area and all of a sudden, this farm's under attack by bandits. Well, you can take this two ways. You can say, okay, I'm going to do that, have some fun, but realize you're probably not going to make it to where you wanted to go on time.
So you got sidetracked.
Or you can just keep going. Say, yeah, I'm kind of bored, but you'll still make it on time. It's a give and take. Everything in MMOs, actually almost every game, it's a give and take. It just depends on what you want to give and what you want to take, and realizing that it does have to be a balance.
If you look at it nowadays, it's become a real problem in our MMOs. This time sinking. Games can't be fast enough nowadays. You can't achieve stuff fast enough nowadays, and the games are all trying to make everything faster. And then you have some team like VR come along that are trying to bring back the old school, and for good reason. I want things to take time. I want to adventure out and have a look and see what happens to me along my way. And if I don't have the time, then I have to think about doing something different.
The whole thing is you should never even want to look at your XP bar. Is that you're in the moment, having fun. Oh, what's that over there? Let's go check it out, guys. Or hey, I'm working on this quest. It doesn't matter, You're not trying to grind to get to max level.
So
that's the problem with a lot of these games, though, is they've made it grind to maximum level. You shouldn't be. You should be concentrating on spells.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
Quest,
if you have to wait till max level, to start your epic or start this or start collecting this, that's why they need to boom. And you should start it as soon as you wake up in the world and your trainer says, "Welcome to Terminus." Right? They should. Boom, start you on your way.
Yep.
Start building, start giving you hints, start giving you clues, go talk to this, whatever. Also, that way you're working up to that max level thing of awesomeness, but you need to start it so that way doesn't. You're not stuck in the grind.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the game.
Getting back on crafting, Resum, you got any notes down to
Well, I think
steer
I
this
said
topic?
All I need to say about crafting, I mean, I want it to be an epic crafting experience. It should take a crafter to talk to a raider to get to a crafting station, or it should take a raider to talk to a crafter to get a weapon. I mean, it has to be communication. There's got to
Right.
be a community built throughout it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got
Yeah.
my two ideas. I mean, go down to the dungeon to build a weapon, or build it in the city and have it a big spectacle.
Mm.
I have one new idea, but after we're done with this subject, totally different epic idea.
Okay. Well, you can toss it in before you lose
ready
it.
For it?
Well,
You
we're ready for
It
it.
has nothing to do with crafting. Okay. I want to talk
The
about
epic slowdown.
no, an epic racial ability.
Yeah.
Something that has to do, like, you have to, because every race has a story, right? So there's a storyline of how that race
Exactly.
got there, why they're there, what they're doing while they're there, right? And there's maybe a storyline that is based on your race. And at the end of it, you get some type of an epic racial ability.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot. It's
That's
pretty
cool
cool.
too.
Yep.
Which is part of the racial what do they call it? Innate abilities.
And why did you choose that race? Was it because
Exactly.
it was pretty, or because there? And what is the storyline behind that race? How did they become? Why are the dwarves cold and in the ice and not in a tunnel in a mountain? Somewhere digging for. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are they different dwarves than what the normal dwarves are?
Yep.
There's a reason why.
Cool
I don't know
idea.
the reason.
So-
I would love to learn the reason.
So there's some things on crafting.
Sorry, Catharis, we missed it, bro.
Sleepy Boy says, what if the perception system allowed you to craft certain things better in certain zones, i.e. Holy Sword is more likely to be crafted successful at a temple? And then Sintro added to that, epic crafting stations deep in dungeons have 100% success rates.
And also gives you a lot more XP. So it makes the crafter want to go with you.
I
Yeah.
suppose.
I'm a firm believer that crafting, raiding, grouping, soloing, all should be interconnected somehow at some point. Not like a huge dependency. I'm not saying you
No.
absolutely need it, but if you think about it, every single breastplate in the world was crafted. Somebody made it. It didn't just
Yep.
pop out of a swamp, So
Right.
to me, it makes sense that crafters should be able to make some pretty damn good stuff.
Well,
But
I'm saying even that raid gear that you're getting from that dragon came from somewhere.
right, yeah.
Somebody
It's just
made
that
it.
the problem that we've been facing today in most modern MMOs as people who are hardcore crafters or people that want to craft or people that don't want to craft is that your reward versus time spent isn't worth it at all. The
Exactly.
method that you use for whatever you do to make it is boring or it's just monotonous, which is technically the same thing. It's, it needs to feel like I'm making an item. It needs to feel like if I'm making a magical item, that I'm making a magic, special item.
I always like, I know we talked about this on another crafting show, but I hated when EQ2 got rid of the, like, you used to have to make the rings, then make the bindings, then make the this, and then make all these different little things, then combine it to make something. But
Yep.
you do that 4 times and then combine that together till you got a finished product.
Yep.
And I think that especially if you're going to have some type of epic crafting, it needs to be a long process with a lot of special ingredients that take forever, and you also have the chance of failing, which makes it even that much worse. Because if you're on stage 4 and you fail, oh my God, you're gonna be like, you're gonna throw your headphones across.
Let's look at it this way: you're cooking something at home. You get sidetracked. You're not paying attention. Something happens. You burn it. Well, let's say you're making chicken. The chicken's now useless. The vegetables are useless. You've got to go get more chicken, more vegetables, and you've got to start over. Now, I understand. This is a pain in the butt for any crafter. I understand that 100%. That's a pain, especially if it's rare. But if you fail and you lose some, like just a few pieces,
Yeah,
I understand. That makes sense
yeah.
to me. That's cool. Right? I'm fine with that. I would still craft and be okay. I'm a little butthurt.
When the
But I
rare
accept
disappears.
But
Yeah.
when you fail, at least you gain an experience point. So that
And you
get a
will
little
gain
bit-
experience,
little bit,
exactly.
The more
closer
you
to
the more you
fail
do
next
it,
time.
the more you do it, the better you're going to get at your crafting trade. The
Yeah.
more
But
you
again,
use that workbench, and
after you've mastered in a specific genre of crafting too. Mind
Yes.
you. This isn't.
Everybody
any-
can't make
no.
it, bro.
yeah.
No. Mm-mm. Like I said, one grandmaster skill per player. Cut and dry.
Any-
Not 5,000 skills per player.
Anything else to add, guys? Otherwise, we'll move on to our contest.
Yeah, well, all I gotta say is I'm looking forward to Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen. I think these guys are on the right track. I want social, promoting social. I want time sinks in so that the content can't be consumed fast, because these are my desires. And some people are out there probably, Dal, you're a crazy old man. But no, I don't want to consume the content where I have to buy another expansion or wait for the next expansion 2 years later down the road, like Star Wars Old Republic, which, they made it to where you could beat 50 in 3 months. I did it in 3 months, and I ran out of content and got bored of the game, and I had nothing to keep me engaged. So I want Pantheon to make this where it engages me for at least a year or 2 years before they can come out with their next expansion or a few pieces of DLC. So I'm looking forward to this game. I'm looking for playing with other players out there, working on a community, because that's what we're all about. That's what our show's about. We're all about encompassing community ideas and bringing that forthright into Pantheon and having a fun, successful time.
Awesome.
That's all I can say.
All right, so we'll
I'm
move.
looking forward to playing with you guys.
Is, if I see a player with epic gear, I will know that he has earned it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Earned.
And I will have full respect if you beat me to my epic.
Yeah,
'Cause
there's
you
no problem
earned
with
it.
that. I don't think it's going to be a race to the end with Pantheon. The nice thing is the perception system. There is no race to the end because
You don't know when it's going to happen.
Do all the way along the
Yep.
way.
And you don't know when it's going to
There's no
happen.
race.
Right, so moving on to our contest, for those who took part and caught the memo about it, we did a contest, and Vesum actually helped us out with the Watcher's Pledge as our giveaway. And we're going to go and announce the winner, and we're going to start off with our honourable mentions. We're going to take the top 5 memes that got sent in. And this is the 5th place meme that was picked. It's the good luck I'm behind 7 warriors meme. Thanks for sending that in. We had a blast viewing that. In 4th place was the this is gonna rock group photo of Kodiak, Delinzia, Alexa and myself on launch day for Pantheon, preparing ourselves to get into the game. In 3rd place, we had the good friends Resu. Best friends die with you so you can walk back to the corpses together. Awesome meme, thanks for sending that in. And in 2nd is, hi, I'm a cleric. Hi, I'm a warrior. Did we just become best friends? Funny, very funny. And the winner is, who would have guessed? Who would have guessed?
God.
Who would have guessed? Hello, Teddy. Mr. Bean. Playing a female magician has its benefits, if you know what I mean.
If you knew what I mean.
And the winner is Lorena. So congratulations on winning the Watcher's Pledge. We will be in contact with you on how to obtain your winning prize, what you have to do, etc. to get your Watcher's Pledge. So enjoy that, and thanks to everybody else who participated. It was fun to see what you guys came up with. So I'll give you another view of all the memes all at once so you can see it all. Those are the ones that made it into the top ranks.
Yes. Very good job, folks. It was funny.
Yeah, I appreciate
A lot of
everybody
good
sending theirs in. Oh yeah, a lot of good laughs.
A lot of good laughs.
A lot of inappropriate ones that we just couldn't show,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Nope.
Yeah. Some of them some were inappropriate. We could not show on the show, folks. They were
Yes.
funny, but not that funny where we could show everybody.
They were funny, but only in an adult manner.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. Right, so anything else, guys, for today's show, or do we want to go and do our wrap up? I mean, we've been going for 2 hours now, so
Holy
Wow.
mackerel.
There you go, guys.
that was
This is epic. Okay?
it's an epic show.
Yeah.
We thought, basically following Tuesday, we had to come up with something epic to follow that.
Yes, Dal skipped out on 3 hours of work just to be on the show today. So yes, that's very
Yes.
epic.
All right, so
Thanks, Zany, for taking your place.
Exactly.
So, but no, I don't know. I don't think I have anything more to say except I like to wrap up my final comments. Pantheon's gonna be a great game. I think everybody's very passionate about the game. We're looking forward to having fun, excitement. Consuming the content on a nice even keel. We enjoy playing with everybody, working together. I think we're all finding that as MMOs, we want to play with other people and overcome some awesome challenges and adventures, and have that moment where we jump out of our chair and go, yes, we did it, and everybody's clapping, smiling, hooraying over TeamSpeak because you finally defeated that mob of craziness, or you achieved your epic, or you found that cool spell that you've been working on for 7 or 8 months to a year. That's the type of game we're looking for, something that continually keeps us engaged. And we love everybody's ideas, and we encourage you all to come on the show, share your opinions, your ideas, because we embrace everybody's. Because our last topic on Tavern Talk, we kind of got into some speculation, but usually that show's strictly news. But we just had a blast taking one simple thing that somebody said in a forum and completely enlighten it to whole new avenues because of everybody's ideas in the chat, in the community. That's what we're all about. And we really are all passionate. We can see there's a lot of passion for this game, and we're all chomping at the bit for it. So just remember, we're always here speculating, trying to open up the box and expanding on awesome ideas and ways we can make our game fun and engage us, because there's some folks who just strictly want to raid. There's some folks who want to just read lore. And some people want to just craft. But if we can put all those mechanisms together in one game and make them kind of mesh and collide in the universe, we all can enjoy this game and not get angry and pissed off at somebody or the devs and say they didn't do it right. But in the end, folks, we all have to play the game the way the developers built it. Are they closing their mind to your ideas? No, I think they embrace your ideas, but at the same time, they don't want to make the game to where you can fly through it, consume the content, and they have nothing else to give you because you've run out of things to do. And they want to engage you and entertain you because that's why it's a game. It's trying to engage us. It's to challenge us, because any game out there, checkers, chess, we don't play those just because. We play them to challenge our mind, engage our minds, and challenge the other person, the individual, at a good, friendly competition. And that's kind of how these games are designed to be built. But I think the genre's lost that, and we want to bring everybody together and implement a lot of stuff to achieve an awesome goal and have player-friendly interaction and work together to achieve common ground and have fun. I mean, that is our sole desire. So on this show, we speculate a lot, we theorycraft a lot, we embrace everybody's ideas, we don't shut anybody out. You never hear us fighting each other and killing each other and destroying each other on the show because I hate your opinion or I hate your idea. No, we embrace the idea. I might disagree. You might disagree. We do that after the show. And Kodiak gets beat up a lot, believe it or not.
No,
Lexer's got bruises all over.
Lexer just hangs up.
Hurt you.
Yes, you're gonna be destroyed. But really, seriously, we're all passionate. So just remember that we love everybody's ideas. We want everybody to engage our community, and we engage you. And please come on the show, share your opinion. We're 4 of us, 5 of us, whoever's on the show. We come out there and we expose ourselves to you and our ideas. And a lot of people are afraid to expose their ideas openly in a public forum like we do every week or twice a week. We're exposing our thoughts and opinions and ideas openly to you, the public, to give you an idea of what we're thinking, and maybe we can add to our idea, or we can add to your ideas, or you give us something we never thought of.
Exactly.
So always remember that. Keep it positive. That's what we're here for VR. We're all about bringing them cool ideas, and the devs watch the show. So remember that. They engage us. They engage the show. They engage you in the public. They engage you in the forum. These guys are really looking for awesome ideas that they're trying to implement and make your game time fun. And I know I've taken a lot of time, but Dale's getting ready to roll out. But I just want to say, remember, we're all here for one thing, and that's to play Pantheon, have fun, create an awesome community atmosphere, stay positive, and stay looking forward to the future. And never feel that your idea is crap, but bring it into a context where we can make suggestions or ideas that are positive and fun for everyone.
Awesome,
Okay.
Dal. So touch
Thank you very much.
to touch on Dal, because we've seen it happen again and again. Is there's a lot of comments in a lot of our shows where people think that we do not like other people's opinions. It's not that we don't like your opinion. It's that some people come into our chat and then they try and shut down an idea, a thought process with a snappy remark without having any backbone to it. Come onto the show, like Dal said. Speak out. Tell us what you think about an idea. Even if we don't like it, we might not agree with that idea. We might think that's not a good idea. You might think a lot of people might think that some of our ideas are crazy as well. But don't block an idea just because you want to or because you think it's stupid. Yeah, we're always trying to get anybody onto the show, and we always try and interact with chat as much as we can. Yeah, because it's just us 4 or 5 running our mouths week in, week out isn't going to get a lot done. But if the community comes together on an open format where anybody can voice an idea, there's a big chance that VR might pick up on it and like it, like we did last Tuesday. The Lawkeeper idea was awesome. It was embraced by the community, and it's been brought forward. Yeah, we even made sure that Brad got note of it. So we hope that he might reply to that forum, to that thread topic as well, because it is an awesome idea. So come on to the show, guys. Anybody's welcome. Just give us a heads up when you're coming on so we know.
Yep. Yeah.
This is gonna rock!
Yep. So with that, guys, we will two quick things. Question from, was it Coach? Help me out, Lex. Who was it? It was Cathathris. No, yep. So, Cathathris asked if we will be covering the next live stream from VR right after they stream out. That's a definite yes. Regardless of when I have to get up, if it's like, if they stream at 4 in the morning, I got to be at work at 7 in the morning, I don't care. I will be streaming that out. I will just call in. I'm calling sick. No, we will be streaming it out. We will definitely try and cover VR's streams right after they do them. So, yeah. About doing a weekend tavern talk show and maybe doing some drinking. I'll have to talk to the guys if they're up to it. See where we go there. And with that, guys, we will see you next Tuesday for Tavern Talk. Thursday's show, we have no idea yet what we're going to talk about. We will put our heads together over the weekend and see what we come up with. And hopefully by Monday, we'll have the information for you guys out there on Twitter and on all the social media to follow up on. So with that, guys, thanks for watching and have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.